Stanley Cup playoff MSPs in NHL 23. You want to know if you should make one or not, trying to decide if they would fit in your lineup or if there are better options. This video will walk you through that. All right, let's go over another master set tier list in NHL 23. All right, now this one was specifically difficult because it looks like as the event's gone along, they've seemed to dial back like the aggressive attribute increases or double skating synergies, for example. So a lot of them are kind of in that lower kind of meh range. Again, in this tier list, they're 96 overall, so the B is the lowest I will go. They're all going to be fantastic cards in your lineup, but if you can only make one or two of them, there's definitely some that are better than others, and that's what this video is going to go over. So again, if I have one lower listed, there's probably a reason for it. Doesn't mean that it's a bad card. It's just, I think that some are more important than others. All right, so let's start in the B tier, and we're going to kick things off with the 96 Erik Johnson. He's 6'4", 225. That is incredible size on the back end. However, there are many right-handed defensemen that kind of fit that bill, especially when you consider that he doesn't have really top-end speed for this stage of the game. If you are going to spend 400 to 500,000 coins trying to make one of these cards, I just think that there are better options, even in this event. He's got Gold Ice Pack, which is completely useless inside of Hockey Ultimate Team. Born Leader, you're never really going to score with your defenseman. Thunderclap doesn't have usefulness. Stick 'em Up does at 6'4", as does Shutdown, which kind of saves this card from honestly being in the C tier. Again, 6'4", 225 is incredible size, but 92 speed, 93 acceleration, that's like top-end January numbers. So they were extremely careful on upgrading him, and that's why he falls in the B tier. Next up in the B tier, we've got the 96 Andy McDonald. Now, this card is fantastic in terms of skating. He's like 99 across the board, and he has gold unstoppable force, which makes up for his biggest liability, and that's the fact that he's 5'11", 190, and he has close quarters. I almost put him in the A tier, but when you consider the fact that we're in May, there are going to be far other cards that are kind of within 3 speed of this card and that are like well over 6 foot. 5'11", 190 is going to get thrown around by anyone that has truculence or any of the bigger defensemen that you see that come out, even Erik Johnson, for example. I used personally Connor Bedard's Team of the Season card that has unstoppable force, and it's okay, but anytime that you go up against some of these defensemen that have truculence, you just get tossed around. So that's not to say he's a bad card if you really need a left-handed winger. Let's also point out the fact that there are a million left-handed wingers throughout the last few events. They just do not want to give right-handed wingers any love, so that's why he's in the B tier. And then lastly, this one kind of surprised me. I've used Mike MODANO on the No Money Spent team. He is in the B tier for me, and again, I will explain why. He's 6'3", 212, which is great. He's got 96 speed, 95 acceleration, again, which is awesome. It's the problem where his abilities are kind of pointless at this stage of the game. Gold Quick Draw, I've mentioned this a number of times, is a good ability to have on one of your centers. That's if he has 99 face-offs. So for anyone that doesn't know, Quick Draw will basically allow you to win any tie that you have against an opponent that doesn't have Quick Draw or 99 face-offs. So you really lose a lot of the benefit later on in the game if you don't have 99 face-offs on your card with a player that has Quick Draw. So it just kind of nullifies the usefulness of the ability. For example, Kopitar would be a much better option if you're looking for a card that has gold Quick Draw. Then we move on to Third Eye. Pointless ability in NHL 23. The pass assist model is turned back on unless they want to keep Sim around, and then it might have some usefulness. Close Quarters is one of, if not the best offensive ability in the game. Lead Edges is fine, but he's got 97 agility, and Wheels is okay, but again, on 96 speed, it's not going to have the same impactfulness. Again, that makes him kind of like a left-handed winger, and his size is great, but there's just so many other options that have better abilities, and I've used him. He's been okay, but not crazy good. All right, on to the A tier, and we've got the 96 Milan Lucic, and at 6'3", 240, he's absolutely massive. He's got gold truculence, which I don't think is as impactful on forwards as it is on defensemen, especially because a lot of your hits with forwards are going to have a few steps into it, and you're going to get penalties quite often. With defensemen, you're looking for the bumps, where that's going to be a lot more impactful, in my opinion. No Contest is okay. Total Eclipse, I don't know if it's ever worked. I've tried a full team build of it, and I don't notice anything different. Crease Crasher, same kind of thing. Close Quarters, again, one of the best offensive abilities in the game. His attributes and size are fantastic, and the only thing keeping him out of the S tier is that he doesn't really have any godlike abilities. If he had Silver Unstoppable Force, for example, that would probably push him into the S tier. Then we've got the 96 Andrew Ladd, 96 speed, 94 acceleration, and essentially 99 everything else. This is almost exactly like Milan Lucic. He's just 40 pounds lighter. He's got gold truculence, big tipper. Again, you guys have been watching my channel all season long. You know that I love going for for tip shots. There's none better at it. And big tipper, I mean, really, it doesn't make the tips any better. They're going to go in if you time them right and actually aim for them correct. Close quarters, great. Crease crasher, no contest, good. But again, it's that lack of second skating synergy that kind of sets him back. Unstoppable Force probably puts him in the S tier. Same thing as Milan Lucic. If you were trying to decide between Lucic and Lad, I would go Lucic. All right, next up in the A tier, we've got the 96 of Freddie MODIN, 6'4", 220. Great meta card in terms of size. It's the 93 acceleration and speed at this point of the game. That kind of puts him in the lower tier from being like the perfect left winger card. He can't play center. Gold Crease Crasher is okay, but you really have to be having him in the perfect spot. And these kind of ones are really tough because they're all based on if that player is going to be at that spot, you know, throughout the actual offensive play. It's a lot like gold 1T on a forward. Like, it's fine, and if you actually get it off, that's fantastic, but it's harder to get that same player in the same spot over and over again. Unstoppable Force is great. Close quarters is awesome. These other two, not going to really worry about activating. 6'4", 220 with an Unstoppable Force. It makes him essentially like Jaromir Jagr. It's just the skating that holds him down a little bit. I would probably rather have FREDRIK MODIN than either Lucic or Lad. Following him, another left-handed winger. We've got the 96 VLADIMIR TARASENKO. I've used this card on the no money spent team. Again, gold 1T. I just don't find a lot of usefulness in it because A, one-timers don't go in as much as they have in prior games, especially with the goaltending animation changes. And again, it's harder to get that same player in the spot for the 1T every single time. That's why I like 1T on defensemen a lot more, because they're always in the same spot. Tape to tape, don't worry about it. Unstoppable Force, that's great, and what kind of separates him from the others. I would probably have Vladdy above any of the other left-handed wingers that were in the A tier. Up next is the 96 Jean Beliveau, and again, same situation as MODANO. I don't know why they gave quick draw on a center that does not have 99 faceoffs in the end of May. However, he's got Unstoppable Force and close quarters. It's again that speed that's in the lower tier at this stage of the game for, again, a card that's going to cost you almost 500,000 coins. Remember, guys, all of these cards are fantastic. I'm talking about longevity, though, and for the players that maybe just started and you really, one MSP is really going to kind of make or break your team early on. He does have Thief, so that will get his face-off rating up a little bit higher, which makes him a little more valuable than MODANO. Unstoppable Force in close quarters is fantastic. So if you have Thief activated, he's pretty close. I don't know if I would activate Quick Draw. I just don't think it'd be worth it on any player that doesn't have 99 at this point. Very strong option, though, however, and his icon always plays very, very good in game. Then we've got the 96 SERGEI ZUBOV. This was almost an S tier card for me. The one thing is that he doesn't have truculence. I think that if he had silver truculence instead of shutdown, he's probably in the S tier. 97 speed, 97 acceleration makes him one of the best skating defensemen that you can make right now. Gold Stick Him Up, again, Stick Him Up is a great ability. The problem is that in NHL 23, they nerfed pochecks, which I actually think are good. However, when they did that, every time you go in pocheck, it's like a 50-50 if the opponent is going to pick up the puck, because everyone has 99 offensive awareness. For anyone that doesn't know, offensive awareness dictates how easily a player can pick up the puck when they lose it. So with everyone having a 99, Stick 'em Up just has a little bit less value. However, if they're very tall enough to Stick 'em Up, the range is so much larger, which makes it a lot more impactful. He's only 6'1", that's not bad, but again, on someone that's 6'6", it's why Victor Hedman's X Factor is so good. All the other abilities, Shutdown I would definitely activate because he's only 6'1", 201, and again, I say only because all these other giants are now in the game. This is a very, very good card, but I think this, again, is more of a January, February card than one that's in May and June. Lastly, in the A tier, I wrestled with this one. SERGE SAVARD, 6'3", 210, great size, 93 speed and acceleration, so I talked about that being on the lower end. However, it's silver truculence, Stick 'em Up, and shutdown if you wanted to. I just think that the value of Stick 'em Up and truculence is fantastic. Like, this one I really wrestled with, but again, I think there are going to be defensemen that come out probably next week or maybe in 2 weeks because we enter June, and that means that overalls and MSPs go up even higher. That's what keeps him out of the S tier for me, is just that lower skating, but this is going to be a very, very good card no matter what. All right, on to the S tier. And again, I stretched this one a little bit, but if we're trying to separate the best ones from the rest, the 96 Jake Muzzin, 6'3", 227, that's elite size, 95 acceleration, 94 speed. But gold shutdown, Stick 'em Up, and truculence, again, just kind of separates him a little bit. Again, SERGE SAVARD's very, very close. It's just Muzzin's a little bit quicker. So again, in the comparisons, that's why I went. Jake Muzzin being an S tier card from the playoff event so far. And then I can't believe I'm saying this in 2023, but 96 Luke Shen, an S-tier defenseman, 6'2", 225, gold truculence, stick him up, shutdown. Again, we just talked all about that. 96 speed, 96 acceleration. In my opinion, this is the best one that you can go out and make for longevity, just usefulness, and has all the right abilities and skating attributes and everything that you need to have a top-tier player in Hockey Ultimate Team. That is why he is in the S tier for me. Now, again, guys, like I always say, this is merely just a guide. Cards are going to play different for you or me. You know, it's all going to depend on your play style, but if you are newer to the game and you are looking for some info in terms of what cards are better than others, in terms of attributes and abilities, this, in my opinion, is what I would go with when it comes to the Stanley Cup event. We'll see what happens. Probably next event or this Friday, we might get some 97s. Probably not, but we'll see. Thank you guys again for watching. Let me know your picks and your ratings down below in the comments section. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.